It's always incredible to come out and see people who really, frankly, put their neck on the line for our community. You know, it's an honor and a privilege to be here in Santa Rosa Correctional Institute. You know, behind me you see just a sampling of the men and women who serve Florida throughout the Department of Corrections. I want to thank the Florida Department of Corrections, our leadership, but also their members for hosting us and for their continued dedication to public safety. I also want to give a shout out to their families. You know, they go through an incredible amount of work, stress, and dedication to mission, and that comes at a cost. So one of the things I often talk about in these moments is you got to remember the men and women behind the badge, the moms and the dads who want to get home and see their family, want to live their American dream as well. I often talk about time, tools, and training. It's something we have to make sure they have so they can get home, complete their mission, and ultimately live their dream the way they need to. So thank you to the families. Thank you to the men and women who serve this way through the Department of Corrections. We truly appreciate what you do. You're on the front lines of public safety. Your work is essential to keeping Florida safe, and you know that we're always going to be a law and order state. Now let me be clear. Florida's justice system does not work without corrections. Our law enforcement can make effects, prosecutors can bring charges, judges can issue sentences, but none of it matters without a secure correctional system that enforces accountability. Our correctional officers are the ones who ensure dangerous criminals stay behind bars, court-ordered sentences are carried out, and public safety is protected. The Florida Department of Corrections is one of the largest correctional systems in the nation, overall responsible for more than 80,000 inmates statewide. 80,000. That's a massive responsibility. It takes strong leadership, trained professionals, and a workforce that's both supported and respected. Like many states around the country, Florida has faced serious staffing challenges in recent years. But what makes us different is that when we have these challenges, when they arise, we step up and solve a problem and we lead. When support was needed to maintain safety and security, our state stepped up. Thanks to Governor DeSantis and his focus on leadership, Florida made the bold decision to deploy the National Guard to assist in our correctional institutions. That support was not only critical, it was essential to maintain law and order. That decision sent a message that it could not be ignored. Florida stands behind its correctional professionals, and we will fill that gap however we need to protect them and their families. Now fast forward to today, and the governor is reaffirming his commitment to Florida's public safety mission. His recommended budget includes $373.9 million in vital pay raises for FDC certified and support staff statewide. That includes raising the base pay for correctional officers, probation officers, and inspectors from $22 an hour to $28 an hour. This is not just about compensation, it's about readiness, it's about stability. If we want safe institutions, we have to have a stable workforce. In order to do that, it takes more than just words. Simply put, it takes deeds. If we want to keep dangerous criminals locked up, if we want and need strong officers on front lines, then we have to put our money where our mouth is, and that is exactly what Florida has done. If we want Florida to remain the safest state in the nation, we have to recruit, but more importantly, retain the very best we have. We cannot allow trained officers to leave for other agencies simply because of pay. This investment strengthens retention centers and ensures Florida continues to attract quality professionals. The governor's recommended budget also includes $56.7 million to add 500 additional full-time security positions statewide. That means more staffing, more coverage, and stronger security inside our Florida institutions. It means safer working conditions for officers and a stronger ability to maintain control and order. Florida is also investing in new correctional facility construction. This ensures our officers have the infrastructure necessary to manage inmate populations effectively for generations to come. We're also continuing the correctional communications expansion. That includes expanding intelligence capabilities and using modern technology to detect, disable, and eliminate contraband. Contraband, like illegal cell phones and drugs, fuels violence and disorder. So Florida is committed to cutting that off and keeping our institutions secure. Now, before we started this, I had an opportunity to talk to some of the leadership and some of the officers. And the world is changing. The technology that our adversaries use is adapting, and it's moving incredibly quick. We absolutely have to maintain our steady support of our men and women in corrections. They deal with a lot behind these walls. They have threats that they may not even know coming every single day. We as a state have to make sure we support them, we fund them, we prepare them, but more importantly, I want them to know that we have their back. Florida is committed to cutting off these secondary, tertiary threat risks around our state. Our people in corrections do hard work. That work's demanding on them and their families. It is often overlooked, but it is absolutely critical to Florida's law and order mission. Florida supports those who wear the uniform. We will always support those who enforce accountability. Florida will always support those who keep criminals behind bars and communities safe. You know, before I close this thing out, I want to make one more reaffirmation. To our men and women in corrections across the state, thank you for what you do. Thank you for your dedicated service, sometimes with hard pay, sometimes with hard conditions, always with an incredibly hard job. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate who you are. Thank you for being on that front line and keeping our people safe and keeping our families able to live their American dream. The state of Florida has your back. We must ensure we always have it as well. So I want to bring up someone who's a new friend. We'll work together on a lot of issues here. Please welcome Assistant Deputy Secretary of Institutions, Hope Gartman. Hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Collins, for joining us here at Santa Rosa Correctional Institution today. You know, your support and that of Governor DeSantis is meant so much to all of our correctional professionals across the state. The Florida Department of Corrections is responsible for managing and supervising over 80,000 inmates. That makes us one of the largest correctional systems in the nation. With that responsibility comes a mission that is critical to the safety of every community across Florida. And we are all aware of how tough that job is. The men and women, like those represented here with us today, that work in corrections do not have an easy assignment. Our officers and staff step into challenging environments to ensure dangerous individuals remain securely off our streets. This profession requires discipline, strength, and consistency every single day. Their work is demanding, and their commitment to public safety deserves recognition and support. That is why, thanks to Governor DeSantis and Lieutenant Governor Collins' continued support to public safety, we are able to make real investments in the people who serve this state through corrections. There has never been a better time to join the Florida Department of Corrections. Corrections is not just a job, it's a calling. It's public service, and it is essential to Florida's continued success as a safe law and order state. Right now, we are competing with other law enforcement agencies that can offer higher pay, and we are losing qualified staff to those agencies. That is a challenge we cannot ignore. So today, we are proud to highlight a major step forward. The pay package recommended in the Floridians First budget raises the base pay for correctional officers, inspectors, and probation officers to $28 per hour, ensuring that those that serve on the front lines of public safety are better supported and better positioned to build long-term careers with the department. And it's not just about our uniformed staff. This initiative also raises base pay for many of our non-uniformed essential professionals who work on the front lines and play a vital role in supporting our institutions and our overall public safety mission. This is about more than pay. It's about recognizing the importance of the mission and ensuring our workforce has the support and resources needed to succeed. At the Florida Department of Corrections, we are committed to building a strong workforce, strengthening our institutions, and ensuring that Florida remains safe for generations to come. Lieutenant Governor Collins, thank you again for being here and for standing with Florida's correctional professionals. We are proud of the work our staff does every day, and we look forward to continuing this mission together.
Thank you, Hope. I really appreciate you and our conversation so far. Now I'd like to hear from someone serving on the front lines every single day. We're going to bring up Sergeant Joseph Hare. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Good morning, everyone. Lieutenant Governor Collins, thank you for coming out here today to Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. We don't always get to have leadership visit in person, and it means a lot that you're here and recognize what we do behind the fence. My name is Joseph Hare, and I'm a sergeant for the Florida Department of Corrections. When people hear the word corrections, they don't usually picture the day-to-day reality of what we do. Most of the work we do isn't seen by the public, and honestly, that's kind of the point. When corrections is running the way it should, the community outside stays safe, and most people never have to think what happens inside a facility. But the truth is, this job requires a lot. It takes focus, consistency, teamwork, upholding our 5 core values of respect, integrity, selfless service, compassion, and courage. You're walking into an environment every day where you have to stay alert, make quick decisions, and handle situations professionally, sometimes under pressure. You're not just responsible for security, but for keeping order, preventing conflict, making sure everyone goes home safe at the end of the shift. And if you work in corrections, you know this. There are no slow days. You never really know what the day is going to bring. But what keeps this place running is the staff. It's the officers in the dorm, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the captains. It's also classification, medical, maintenance, and every person who plays a role in keeping the institution operating. It takes a full team to manage a system this large, as our institution alone is responsible for 2,600 inmates. And that's why we're here today. Because a lot of times, correctional staff feel overlooked. People don't always realize the sacrifices that come with this career. The long hours, the working nights, weekends, missing holidays, and being away from family. It's demanding work, and it's not something everyone can do. And when the state steps up and recognizes this reality, it makes a difference. This pay increase is a major step forward, and not just for officers like me, but for everyone who supports this mission. And it's not just about current employees, it's about recruitment too. We need strong people to join this agency. We need individuals who want a stable career, who want benefits, who want opportunity to move up, and want to be a part of something that actually matters. We need leaders. If you want to be a leader, be here. And the truth is, corrections can be a great career for someone who wants structure, purpose, and a real path forward. I've seen people come into this job with no idea what to expect, and within a few years have built a career, gained leadership experience, and created a better life for themselves and for their families. That's what this is about, building a strong workforce so we can keep our institution safe, keep our community safe, and keep Florida moving in the right direction. Lieutenant Governor Collins, thank you again for being here. Thank you for recognizing the work done in corrections, and thank you for supporting the officers and staff who show up every day and take pride in doing a difficult job and doing it the right way. We appreciate it, and we're proud to serve. And as always, we never walk alone. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Joseph. I appreciate your comments. You know, Sergeant Hare, it was apparent how much you care about not only your job, but your people in your comments, and hope it was very much the same way. You know, today is about law and order. It's about ensuring Florida remains a state where accountability is enforced. It's about making sure our correctional institutions remain secure and fully staffed. But more than that, you know, I often remind people, I represent 23.5 million people, or just under that, every single day. This is an affirmation to the people of Florida that we take our job seriously, that we support our men and women corrections and in law enforcement, and we invest and stand strong because we protect the things that matter the very most to us, and those are our citizens, our people. It'll always be people over politics. So with that, I want to say Governor DeSantis' budget recommendations are critical. Florida's taken real action because of that and so many other things to strengthen our corrections team. One last time to every correctional officer, to every staff member, to every family member across this state, thank you. On behalf of Governor DeSantis and his entire team and a very grateful state, thank you for what you do. You protect the public, you enforce accountability, you uphold the rule of law, and Florida will always stand beside you. God bless each of you, God bless the state of Florida, and may God continue to bless these United States. Thank you. Appreciate you all.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you all. Shake your hands again as we do this. Well, I want to thank you for coming. If you want to do a pull aside on questions afterwards, we can do that, okay? Thank you, guys.